What is going on, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde live here on YouTube. Appreciate everyone tuning in with us live, and for those watching back, hope that you are doing well on this Saturday. As we record this, Tim, what do you think about the game? 41-17. Any thoughts?
No, I mean let's just start yapping, start getting into it. The game before Ohio State, you're playing Central Michigan. You coming off a really obviously physical road game last week, their first true opponent, let's say last week. Got the big win on the road, came back, lack of focus, attention to detail, all the coaching cliches, and you still won 41-17. It was sloppy, defense, was bad a bunch. They just were. They played with their backup quarterback, and it was a one-score game at halftime. But Notre Dame is Notre Dame, better athletes over the course of 60 minutes, and it showed the second half. And, a bunch of mistakes here and there, but overall, they did what they had to do, right? Come out of this game, and now it is prime time next week. So let's start talking about the Buckeyes. We'll obviously talk about this game, and plenty of positives, plenty of negatives. When you look around.
Yeah.
So, but overall, hey, heck of a win. And at the end, 5 straight games over 40 points. As sloppy as this game was, 5 straight games over 40 points going back to the bowl game.
So let's dive into some of it. Biggest concerns from this game, right? I know you don't want to spend everything's Ohio State, but you learned about the football team from this kind of game. So, and then the 3 games prior, obviously. What are your concerns? You got it written down?
Oh, yeah, I think I wrote this down the second quarter. Let's be brutally honest here. The biggest concern is, can this team generate a pass rush, and a consistent one, a dominant one, a one that's going to go win games against these top 10 teams they're going to be playing coming up. Do they have to blitz? Do they have to bring constantly 5-6 guys to create pressure? There's major question marks if you're just looking at the front 4 generating heat against a 5-man protection, let's say next week going into Ohio State. So I noticed it earlier. I was charting, I've been charting, when they go dime, especially dime, just to see who's getting pressure. Not a lot of pressure in the dime today. Obviously, I'll go back, rewatch it, whatnot. Ohio State, geez, Mike, lay that. I'm already thinking of that. Central Michigan don't have the most physically looking, imposing offensive linemen, and they were blocking the heck out of Notre Dame on pass blocking. So that was a big surprise to me. So.
We already got a super chat from Trash. He says, decent win. I have a sinking feeling that the odds will be extra stacked against us. Big Ten refs who want Ohio State in the playoffs. And our review team with ACC who wants our streak snapped. So let's get the job done. We're not the conspiracy theory show, so we're not going to dive into that. But
the odds are going to. Let's just be brutally honest. The odds are going to be stacked because first off, it's the name. It's Ohio State. But I'm telling you guys, we'll dive into this during the week. We could get into it a little bit tonight if there's questions. If people want to super chat away and ask questions, I have the game being taped right now, but I have broken down their first 2 games. I'm telling you, man, the Buckeyes could be beaten. They really can. They got dudes. They're not an 8-4 Ohio State team. They have guys. Their quarterback could chuck it. But I'm telling you, going into next week, this is an Ohio State team that Notre Dame can win. Whatever you saw today, the previous. There's a ton of positives from this Notre Dame football team over the course of 4 games. There is a lot. It is a completely different team than last year. So they're going to go into next week. They're going to be jacked up, ready to roll. I don't think the refs are going to be out to get Notre Dame. I think it's going to be a rock'em sock'em top 10 matchup. So I don't think the refs are going to be out to get them. But always questions.
Biggest positives from and Trash, really do appreciate the $20 super chat. Biggest positives, Tim, this is interesting. I've seen some people be like, man, in the past couple games, man, we're only scoring on some of these big plays. Can our offense sustain a good drive? And I'm just like, all we've been playing about for years is not big play offense. And Tim, how about, let's see, I know there's a stat, home, big plays, okay? 232 of Sam's passing yards went on 4 plays. 75 yards to Merriweather, 76 yards to Tyree, 39 yards to Thomas, and 42 yards to Flores. Pretty good.
Exactly. And then you take in some of the runs. There's a lot of big plays today. Yeah, the 270s are obviously huge to kickstart the game and get the mojo going and whatnot. No, Notre Dame can sustain drives. They've done it this year. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was excited right before halftime. I'm like, are we going to see another two-minute drive from the Irish? And then obviously they got it in, took a knee. There's no need to try and rush it down there. But no, I mean, lots of positives today. They ran the ball good. Outstanding. Hey, a lot of really good pass blocking today. The biggest, which then goes into a negative or something that wasn't good, was how much Hartman had to hold the ball. To me, that was another concern. He had to hold the ball. So is that dude's not getting open against Central Michigan? I found that interesting because he had, 6 to 8, let's say, holds, had to move around and scramble. It's going to happen in the course of a football game, don't get me wrong. I just found that compared to the previous 3 games, today was the most he's had to hold the ball and look for guys.
Okay. Interesting. And folks, it's 6:02 p.m. Eastern time as we record this. So maybe you're watching this back later. Maybe you're listening the next day or the day after via podcast. But I don't know if you guys have been checking in on the Alabama USF game. But I mean, USF is a bad team. USF grad here, bad team. Buckner went 5 of 14, 34 passing yards, 11 yards rushing on 2 carries, got pulled. I know there was a delay there, but that's against USF. I don't know what's going on there, but I can't say that I haven't been. I haven't watched any of the footage, but I can't say I haven't had the box score on refresh on my phone throughout the afternoon. But definitely interesting what's going on there. A couple super chats. What is concern of stopping Ohio State's run versus Notre Dame defensive line? O-line looked better late, but seemed even first half. But okay, O-line looked better late, but seemed even for okay. I don't understand your sentence. I fear Ohio State D-line could dominate. Blake looks average. Thoughts, Tim?
I'll tell you what, Blake, he had a hold. By the way, 4 offensive line holdings today. It was just atrocious. Coogan had one. Stays obviously on the touchdown callback. Fisher had one. And then Rocco had one, which they just declined on a pass rush. But yeah, Fisher today, it's funny. It's one of my notes I got here. Fisher's best game. I'd be curious to see what the PFF grades are. He was just mauling guys out there. And the one hold he had, it was, once again, his hands were high. It was hand placement. And he looked like he probably just thought he could just kick the living crap out of this guy and didn't move his feet, and he got a hold. Other than that, yeah, Ohio State's D-line's good. Hall, number 51's a stud. But once again, my biggest takeaway from Ohio State is the overhype of the DNs. Not been overly impressed with those guys, their DNs this year. So I think Notre Dame's going to be fine. The concern going into next week is the guards. Just be brutally honest. Coogan, Spindler versus Ohio State, who has some dudes inside.
Okay. Really appreciate the super chat, Mike. And then we had one from Keith, who says, I love the show. Thanks, Go Irish. Well, Keith, really appreciate the $13.99, my friends. Really love the supports. Going through some of my notes, Tim.
Sure.
That touchdown Tobias had, I won't say it's the easiest he's ever had, but it's definitely the easiest from 75 yards out. So, and then he had that nice little, like, an outbreaking route he had. So for Tobias Merriweather, 2 receptions, 81 yards, and a touchdown on 3 targets. Love to see that for Tobias. I don't know if he's ever going to be like a 7+ reception guy a game for Notre Dame. At least this season, with the way that Hartman spreads the ball around and maybe some of Merriweather's inconsistencies, but took the top off the defense. It was terrible defense, and I don't know where Central Michigan safety help was, but he took the top off the defense.
Yeah, that's Notre Dame will. That's by far and away the worst secondary. Tennessee State had better secondary than Central Michigan. They especially on the Tyree one, the free safety because they play so much middle safety. He jumped Tobias because Tobias had scored earlier, and Tyree was just free as could be on his touchdown. But it's nice to see anytime you get a 75-yard touchdown play, someone's gonna slip and fall. Heck, Marvin Harrison last week against Youngstown State, the corner literally fell. Marvin Harrison goes 75 yards. So you take them when you get them because they're hard to get by. But no, not nice for Tobias. Tobias, you're right. He's not going to be one of those 8 catches, 11 catch, Michael Floyd type guy. He's got to be a guy that just has to extend, get some posts, get some go routes, extend secondaries. He's going to be huge next week because they're gonna get massive press on the outside, and they're gonna have to take shots at some point next week, which is fine. They're gonna get a lot of man from those Buckeye corners.
Tim, I've got a question for you.
Sure.
Are you a displaced corporate executive, or are you wanting to put your career in your own hands?
I wish.
Tim, are you an entrepreneur? to today, Junior. Are you an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify? Well, Andy Ludicky can help you out. Andy is a huge college sports fan and a franchise veteran, having owned multiple franchises and businesses. Using Andy's expertise, he helps others find their American dream through a very thorough consultation and evaluation process. Give Andy a call, 404-973-9901, and put your life and career in your own hands. And best of all, his services are 100% free to use. So what do you have to lose? Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. Jim says, don't see how you can clean this up in the next 7 days. Someone on the message board on the blueandgold.com, our game thread, which is always an interesting place, people were taking stray shots at Chris Tyree, and I'm like just again, interesting place. People were saying, like, if there's a year for Notre Dame to just run the table and win this thing, it's this year. Does there seem to be a truly elite team right now? I mean, it's still very, very early in the season. I get it, but
I mean,
Ohio State's not great.
I haven't watched. I
didn't watch anything. I've been swamped all day. Watched a little bit of game day earlier just to get hyped up with prime time and everybody. But I just saw the Florida State score. Boston College is as good as the 12 guys I could get down the street, and they almost beat Florida State today. Kansas State upset by Mizzou. I don't even know Mizzou played football anymore. They're like so deep in the bottom of the SEC. So you just never know. UGA is up now. They were down 14-3 at halftime.
Yeah, so Georgia's up 17-14. Michigan has played those kids down the street that you're talking about, Tim. Florida State, not great. Texas has looked pretty good, but are they back?
How do you know if Alabama's 3-3 with South Florida? What does that tell you about?
That's
right?
true. USC looks hot, and then you got Ohio State in 6. Penn State, I don't think has really done. I don't think Penn State's played anybody.
What about that team ranked number 21, Duke 38? I know they're playing Northwestern, but they're smashing them. But no,
so I mean, let
me just jump in on that because it's a great point, Mike. Because the quarterbacks, who's Notre Dame playing? Once again, we talked about this the other night, you and I. The only game Notre Dame will go on the field this year is with someone better than Sam Hartman is Caleb Williams, bar none. They're going to go on the field next week. Sam Hartman is better than Kyle McCord. McCord has an arm and he's got dudes on the outside. But this Ohio State offense, at least in the 2 games I've watched, like I said, I'll watch it tonight. I know they're playing Western Kentucky, which is a really good football team. Those dudes sling it all over the place. So that'll be a great game to check out. And then it's Notre Dame can. I mean, seriously, next week's obviously big. If they beat Ohio State, Mike, oh my God, they literally are going to go into every game outside SC, but SC's at home, where just like Notre Dame struggles in Los Angeles, SC has a long history of being top 10, top 5, losing in South Bend. And obviously that'll be another crazy electric atmosphere, more than likely, with game day coming to that game again. So you're right, because Alabama's down. Georgia is down. I've only seen them a little bit. As talented as Georgia is, people are talking about Notre Dame's offensive line struggles. Georgia is atrocious this year right now. They've had to replace so many. Same with Ohio State. They lost 3 offensive linemen get drafted, and it's noticeable. They got their left guard's going to be a first-round pick. He's a stud, but huge noticeable difference out there. Stover, the tight end's been like their best go-to guy, and they're not going to beat Notre Dame just throwing to Stover as a tight end. The running backs have been a hodgepodge of rotation, so next week's the biggie. But you are right, Mike. If Notre Dame could get by the Ohio State lads from Columbus, Ohio,
yeah,
it's right in front of them. It is right in front of them because of Hartman, the experience, just bringing that to the offense this year. It's noticeable, yes.
Tweet from Blue and Gold's Jack Sobel. Mitchell Evans is in concussion protocol.
Wow.
DJ Brown tweaked his hamstring a couple days ago and wasn't 100%, so Notre Dame held him out today. So that's per Marcus Freeman in his postgame press conference. So if you're wondering where those 2 guys were, there's your answer. Tim, I have a question for you. Do you feel – go ahead.
No, I was going to just say something real quick because I know Mitchell Evans will be – obviously he's a starting tight end and all that. But if he's out another week, let's just say with a concussion, tell you what, man, Sherwood could block.
Yeah, he's a good player.
He could block. And some guy that Mike said, watch out for back on August 1st, Mr. Flanagan from LaSalle, the freshman. I would love to see I swear, he looked like he was out there 40 snaps today. So obviously he's a freshman, physical as could be, but with stays, you could always play a heck of a lot more 11 personnel against Ohio State if Evans is out, if his concussion's bad. So just throwing that out there, not to be too worried. Holden Stays is going to be like he's going to go in the top 2 rounds. That guy's legit. He is legit.
Yeah, love Holden Stays.
Yes.
Him and Jaden Thomas, I got to see a lot because they're Atlanta kids.
On the street, yeah.
Those offenses just did not get to feature them too much. So I've told my Jaden Thomas story. I thought he was going to be a safety at Notre Dame. I did not see leading receiver kind of thing at Notre Dame. Yeah. I love his game. I am very glad I was wrong on him. And Stays, I was pretty excited about, but oh my gosh, he looks fantastic.
Oh yeah.
He looks better than I thought too. This was a good thought from Ken here. He said, did Hart really catch a pass or should that have been Tobias? So yeah, it says Cam Hart right here for folks watching on YouTube. I'm guessing that was actually Tobias. So we're going to give 3 for 91 then for Tobias. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I don't think Hart was doing what the Colorado corners doing playing receiver. So, Travis.
Ben, thank you for the call out there. Okay, so my question to you, Tim, do you feel like Notre Dame just kind of looked past? Oh, did Tim freeze? Oh no. Tim. All right, I'm gonna remove Tim and then he will come back. So let's see. Tom says another game with 0 sacks from the defensive line. Only sack I remember was Harper, the defensive back. Jack Kaiser also got credited with 1 sack. And we'll get Tim Hyde back here in just a second so I can ask him that question. Kaiser led the way with 10 tackles. How about Thomas Harper, though, and how good he looked on those back-to-back plays where he almost had the sack, and then the next play he does go and get that sack force fumble. Now, how he got in that free on Central Michigan's poor quarterback for that hit is unbeknownst to me. But that is what happened. Just shot him a text to see if he can rejoin. But let's go through more of the comments, see what you guys are saying. Tom also says Harper played amazing. He's doing pretty good in coverage as well. Jason Onyé, defensive end, 47, looks fantastic. Just really physically imposing and impressive. I will accept that $400 super chat, and Tim gets nothing of it. Oh, crap! There he is. Oh, I didn't mean to
control delete, Mike. Here you go. All control delete. I'm back.
Okay, my question for you, Tim.
Sure.
Do you feel like Notre Dame just kind of didn't respect Central Michigan? And I gave you two kind of reasons, and then anything else you saw. The 59-yarder. that they attempted with Schrader. I get that they have seen him kick 61-yarders, but you're not doing that against Ohio State, right? You're doing that to kind of give your kicker some confidence because you're playing Central Michigan. And also, do you notice the amount of like I know Notre Dame's going to rotate a lot defensively, but it felt like more in that first half. I mean, Josh Burnham was playing in that first drive. I think it was like the third, fourth player. I saw Josh Burnham in there.
He did that last week, by the way. He was
okay. He did
against NC State, which was surprising. Yeah, he went out there early last week.
Yeah, Heinisch.
Right here.
Heinisch got in. Yes, Chris Drake did play, but it just seemed to me that they were really leaning into some of these things. Do you think I'm wrong here?
No, I mean, my biggest thing with the defense is just number one, complete lack of focus. I think that goes back to just overconfident, blah. I mean, and don't forget Central Michigan's starting quarterback. Not that he's some all MAC juggernaut. He's not, but they went with their backup. It's the energy. You play Dublin, you play in a historical black college for the first time. You go out and have fun. You go on the road last week. It's the Buckeyes are a couple hours away. You know what I mean? It slows type of mentality. They were sluggish. Run fits were atrocious. One play to me, complete lack of focus was Marist. He's just sitting there, just staring in the backfield. The guy cuts back right by him in the first half on one of their like 15, 18-yard runs or whatnot on the outside. For them, they had 80 yards rushing at halftime. 80 yards rushing. There's no way Notre Dame should have given up 80 yards rushing against those guys. To me, that's just run fits. Guys just be like, I don't care. I'm going to run around and just try and tackle the guy. I saw a little bit of that. The one big pass that got him down there, they blitz and Xavier Watts is just staring in the backfield, doesn't even reroute the guy. He runs the seam right by him on a, basically look like a zone blitz that they're running. But sluggish, once again, shut him out in the second half. They didn't rotate a lot in the second half. Those main starters were playing. But yeah, the first half, I think they had the mindset of, we're going to be up 35-0 at halftime. Let's just rotate all these guys in. And it felt that way. The way they scored so fast, the game felt like it was 50-3 at halftime and it's 21-14. It was a weird half the way the flow went, especially Notre Dame on offense.
Bob says this was the Stanford game last year. Difference was Hartman not allowing team to lose. Obviously I don't know, but it definitely seems like this weekend NC State, like if you put the 2022 Notre Dame team out there for that, I think it's a different result. Lose or not lose, I don't know, but
they wouldn't have lost this game. That Central Michigan game, that they would not have lost this game. No, it may have been
closer.
It have been sluggish or closer. Yeah. Hartman obviously hitting the bombs early, but that goes back to my point of the defense. In games like this, the reason why sometimes games are close. I mean, it's one of the sides. Either the offense is punting machine or the defense is just sloppy. Mind's not right, not fitting on runs, slipping on a pass play and whatnot. But that Central Michigan. I mean, this was not a solid team. This was not Marshall. I keep going back. That Marshall team was stacked. They won like 9 games last year and top 10 on defense last year. So it's just a sloppy game going. That's the way I read this game. After last week, this was the perfect opponent to play, just like Tennessee State was after a Dublin trip. This was the perfect opponent to play, packed in between a road trip and the South Bend Super Bowl I've been calling.
Yeah, because they're not so bad.
Yeah, you still have to work.
That it's like, why are we playing this team? But they weren't good enough to actually give you a real challenge. Tim, I wrote in my notes, is it bad that I kind of like that they struggled a little bit? It's a good little wake up. Like, hey, NC State had a nice little win there, but that you didn't win the Super Bowl there.
No, I agree.
You go back against Central Michigan, and it's like, we need a lot to clean up and improve on. And Ohio State. So I like it. Jay Carr says, my buddy says, we low key suck against the MAC. I mean, honestly, my first year covering Notre Dame, the Irish blew out Bowling Green 52-0. That was a terrible Bowling Green team. But then you look at Toledo, Marshall, and Central Michigan. And again, folks, this was 24-point win. was a 35-point spread. So Notre Dame should have, you know, I think we all would agree this should have been more like a 41-7 kind of deal.
Yeah.
Offense, I thought, Tim, I mean, let's look at the drive chart.
No, I hear you.
I mean, Notre Dame's offense is just cruising.
No, I got it right here. I know. I wrote it down.
Touchdown, missed field goal. You had a 3-and-out, halftime, touchdown, punt, field goal, touchdown. I mean,
yeah,
it was still pretty solid.
No, and going back to your things to keep getting worked on, I totally agree. They still some run. I mean, the last 3 times they ran the ball, they got stuffed in the first half, and they got stuffed on a couple drives in the middle of the third quarter as well. So going back to your point of, it wasn't an atrocious team. There are things to still clean up and work on. Central Michigan played good at times. They did a couple overload blitzes again against the run, which you can't block 8 guys sometimes, and it's just impossible. But how about we spend a minute, Mike, on what might have been had Hartman's knee turned into Aaron Rodgers? I mean, we haven't even talked about that yet.
It was on my talking points, Tim. And if you don't mind, before we dive into that,
go for it.
Let's head over to an amazing place, and that's Augie's locker room. Let's just go over there, because while we can't do the stream from inside Augie's, although that gives me a great idea for the future, we will go there, digitally and head to Augie's locker room. .com. Look, folks, when you are in town for that Ohio State game next week, or any time that you are in South Bend, you've got to make time for Augie's locker room. They have a wide selection of Notre Dame stadium pieces, jerseys, helmets, autographs, and one-of-a-kind Rockney items. You can find exclusive Joe Montana signed items and famous sculptor Jerry McKenna's replicas of the bronze statues around the stadium. And Augie gets new stuff in all the time. If he doesn't have it for you, just hit him up and ask him to go find it for you. Visit him at 1811 South Bend Avenue and see the vintage helmet display dating back to 1890. He's got some great stuff. You're going to want to check it out. So visit augieslockerroom.com or give Augie a call at 574-277-6363. Augie's Locker Room. .com. I kind of like that he had that awkward moment. I don't know what else to call it. It was scary, awkward, whatever, that fall.
Yeah.
I like that next play that he went in, the first snap after he had that weird hit on him, 42 yards to Rico Flores.
Rico. And no, he came and did that. The one that I started getting a little nervous of was the 2 overthrows, horrible passes to Greathouse. The one to the right, one over the middle, both over.
One over the middle.
It was. He was open. He
was open.
He was over his head.
But that's a normal thing. The Greathouse. But still, it's 4 games in, and he's never done that. So
no. I'm not
saying a missed throw by Sam Hartman. This is so strange. He must be injured. So
no, I'm saying because he wasn't putting probably enough weight down on his leg. Was he balanced enough? Was he overstriding? That's what started getting me nervous. Like, oh my God, don't tell me this thing is worse. And he's just out there trying to gut it out.
Right.
Which, obviously, he shook it off, and you could see he was limping a little bit one time on the sideline. I think it was after those few passes, and then he came back. He looked fine. You know what I mean? I think it was that early, just. Couple throws. How does it feel? Those types of things. No, it was like nervous. I was like, oh my God, it was full on Aaron Rodgers, because the way he looked, I was like, oh God, this is nerve wracking. But you're right. He came back, played basically the whole entire game until the last 3 minutes. So, they're packing it in ice right now and making sure nothing in there is deep. But that was a heck of a game with over 300 yards. Just solid. How many touchdowns passes? Did he have 3? The one that stays, by the way, what a catch by Holden.
Yeah.
One hand grab. So that's 13. Still no turnovers.
What was your pick? 15 through?
Yes, I had 15 by the 4-game mark, so I'm almost there.
Okay.
Almost there.
Gotcha.
Yes, still no interceptions, Chris says down here. Exactly.
Still no interception.
And that's been obviously a Hartman thing when he came aboard in January. We broke down Wake Forest's offense and broke down Sam Hartman's game was, he'd throw it up and have huge interception games. Knock on wood, it doesn't happen next Saturday night. But none of that this year, which goes back to I think it's the style of the offense. Outside of today, it's been more short.
15 total because he's got 2 rushing.
Yeah, he's got the 2
You called that, Tim. Nice.
Good passing, but it's okay. I'll take it. 15 total. I'll take it.
Yeah, we will take it. I'm just scrolling Twitter.
I hear you.
Yeah. From the post-game presser, if anyone's asked about Hartman, but seems to be okay.
Good.
578 total yards. Again, 330 yards through the air on 16 completions. That is pretty darn good. Steve Angeli, I thought was just. I'm just kidding.
Who did he hit for 12? By the way, who is that?
Oh, it was on a screen to Devin Ford.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was running up here to come and chat with everyone and roll from there. But I mean, that's the thing. See, we can sit here and nitpick as Notre Dame fans and I should have done this. Like some guys are like, oh my God, how do you expect to stop Ohio State? Central Michigan scored 17. They won going away. Is it the game? Once again, Notre Dame fans wanted this to be Tennessee State. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't. So they still played a bunch of guys. They still got. Flanagan played more than ever because of the Evans thing. Rico Flores played a lot more today than he has. Love got it. I think it was Jeremiah. I think the second running back in today. So he was getting in there. Christian Gray. I've mentioned him the last couple of weeks. He is playing a lot in the first halves of games. I'm not saying 30 snaps, but he is playing more. He's really coming along as that third corner from what it's looking like.
Yeah, we need to do on our Wednesday night show. We need to do a snap counts breakdown.
Yes, especially with the freshmen, the young guys. I really want to get into them.
All right, there we go. We'll do a freshman review.
Yes, I like it.
Oh, no, Tim. No, That sounds more like a bye week thing. We might have to fit in a second live show this week.
We don't have a bye week until like 3 more months the way this schedule's going. It's just going until you get a break here after I think it's after SC is the first bye. So we'll figure it out.
Wednesday night is all Ohio State.
Yeah, I'll have a good breakdown. Like I said, I've watched the game. I'll definitely. What is the score? Is it really 40? It was like 17-10. Is it 42-10? I think someone posted.
I am sure
Ohio State has turned it up a notch, and that'll be fun film.
42-10 in the third. Yeah,
this is a good film to watch for all the Notre Dame fans to go out there and watch this team. Western Michigan's got a great quarterback, really good wide receiver. They got a good passing game. So this will be a fun one that to break down and get into to compare it to Notre Dame. What Notre Dame's going to do next week.
All right, some comments. This was an interesting one from Ray. Can Mike and Tim admit that Sam Hartman is the real deal, and that would be a different situation with Alabama QB Tyler Buchner? It would be a different situation because you have 2 different quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'll jump in there right away. Number one, I haven't watched a second of Alabama. I just saw the score that Mike posted, so I have no clue. I heard Hartman. Geez Louise, I heard Buchner was starting like late last night. After the Texas game. So I have no idea. I have no clue. Can you say, is Hartman the real? Once again, Hartman is. We said Hartman was going to be the starter. We said Hartman was going to be the starter after the bowl game. That's why he came in. And then, we've had 506 conversation on this. Hartman, why Hartman is the real deal is the experience. Those were some of the arguments I know I had was experience, letting guys develop and whatnot. But hey, I've mentioned this recently. I'm just going to follow what Marcus Freeman does. It's his program, and that's the other thing. It's his program. It's his philosophy. He's going to do what he wants to do. So I'm listening to him. His favorite word in the dictionary is experience. He loves experience at quarterback. And when Hartman takes that first snap next week, everybody, it will be his 50th career start. 50 career starts. So he is bringing a lot of football knowledge to the table, and it's showing.
If he beats Ohio State, he is locked to go to New York City because Notre Dame's not going 8-4. I mean, just be real. They beat the Buckeyes. He's locked to go to Ohio State.
Tim, how great!
They beat
one of us predicted that. That would.
Oh, I know. And if they beat SC, I've said it, man. If they're 8-0, Mike, going into the bye, it's Sam Hartman's Heisman to lose. I mean, let's just be honest and real about all this. But a lot of football to be played.
I think that's Tim's good coach speak answer. I will give you just my Mike Singer sound off. I thought Hartman was the real deal. I mean, I have been the conductor of this. Hartman is trained for. I mean, I predicted him to be a Heisman finalist and for Notre Dame. Did I say 11-1?
Yeah, you said 11-1.
I think I even said make the playoff at 11-1. But regarding Buckner, listen, great kid. Really enjoyed to get to know him in the recruiting process. And I mean, the family's fantastic. Really good talent. Junior tape for Tyler Buckner, the best tape I think I've ever seen. Like, or at least the most entertaining.
It's freakish.
Yes. Right? Terrible competition, but the tools, freakish.
Yes.
I don't like coming out and being overly negative on people because that's just not my personality. And I also don't like burning bridges. That's just me. But I'm pretty now outspoken, and I think I have been since maybe the Marshall game last year. Buckner ain't it. Buckner ain't it, man. This was a tweet from Brooks Austin. He covers Georgia, and I know him just from going to different high school games and seeing him. He said, this was from September 15th, so this was before the USF game. He says, Tyler Buckner was an extremely promising prospect at one point, then something completely changed in his throwing mechanics. Watched the junior tape, he's a top 100 player, then showed up to the Elite 11 with a new and atrocious motion. Then there's the college turnover issue. Bottom line, he's talented, but he's been on a downward trend in performance and development. Still like Milroe running the ball with the deep play action games, the ideal offense. And then he even has like a screen grab. His release went from this super fluid and loose motion to this stiff reach release. This is less than ideal, to say the least. Tim, I've talked about that Elite 11 and how awful that was. I mean, there absolutely was some kind of change, and he just has not been the same, in my opinion. So we could talk about the whole building from the future thing, but like I told you several months ago, Tim, Notre Dame feels okay. I think I said this back in like January, February. Notre Dame felt that it had a team with Sam Hartman that can go to the college football playoffs and win a game. I don't know about win the whole damn thing, but they felt we can make the playoffs and win the thing. And I think through 4 games, of course, Ohio State's the biggie. Tim's been telling me that since I think I was born. Tim was yelling to my mom, Ohio State 2023, Singer, you better be there.
Yes.
But I think through 4 games, we can kind of see like what Notre Dame has seen. Not only like how good Hartman can be for them, but also, guys, Buckner ain't it. So,
and it goes back to an experienced quarterback. Why is Hartman here? Because of all the reps. I mean, let's just be really honest. It's the reps, it's the playing time over the course, and that's why he is what he is, because he's played. He's played a lot. He played for a really good football. Oh, no, exactly. Of course he's good. I'm not saying he's a bomb. He's very good. Yeah. Coach Clausen and those guys developed him. Look what they did with him. So he came to Notre Dame ready to go. It's almost like Notre Dame's gotten out of his way and said, hey, go run these plays, go do it. And he is doing it outstanding. He is having a heck of a season.
Still a new offense. I mean, Freeman said that when he came here, it was a struggle.
Oh, yeah, it's a new offense, but his experience of throwing out routes, curls, whatever, fades, seam routes, those are still a quarterback being a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's done all this
right here. You can have experience, but you need talent. He's a very just talented.
He's a heck of a college quarterback. Yes, yeah. He's had a great college career. When he is done with Notre Dame and he keeps doing the things like the path that he's on, he is a heck of a college quarterback without a doubt. I'm not going to say anything opposite that. He's had a heck of a college career.
Yeah, he has. Tim, Andrew says they really miss Bertrand. What'd you see from the Notre Dame linebackers today?
Just sloppy, not good run fits. Once again, a lack of focus in that first half. It just goes back to the first half. Second half, they came out and did a heck of a job. Obviously, shut them out. First half was just sloppy. Just, I'm Notre Dame. I'm going to run over you, make plays. You're going to punt every 3 plays. And it didn't turn into that. So it was just run fits and a lot of sloppiness is what it looked like to me.
Okay, there's another comment here that I wanted to pop up. I think it was from Tom. Okay, we could win the whole damn thing if we get a pass rush developed in time. Yeah, listen, the defense, I think we kind of it's going to be I don't think the defense is going to improve dramatically. I think it's a good defense, but I think they're going to be sloppy, and the pass rush is just not going to be an elite pass rush. But Notre Dame has had much better defenses in recent years, right? But the struggle's been the offense. So you're going to have to outscore some guys or outscore some teams with your guys. And I think Notre Dame can do that now. So I think that's kind of the big difference. 4 straight games, 40 plus points. So that's kind of the encouraging thing for me, Tim.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, they played sloppy today and still put up 600 yards of offense nearly and 40 some odd points, and they left points on the field, without finishing a few things. But hey, you know what? They're going into next week an extremely confident football team. They got Sam Hartman at quarterback. That is going to be one of the big keys next week. He's going to have to play lights out. He's going to have to be money. He is, because the Buckeyes have different dudes. We all know that. I don't care what anyone says. They have different guys. They break on the ball a lot faster than what Notre Dame has seen the last 4 games. So he's going to have to come 50 games, boom, use all that experience, and he's going to have to just put Notre Dame on his back next week and go win it. I truly believe that's what it's going to be.
Audric Estime, 20 attempts, 176 yards. Touchdown. Also had that one get called back due to a holding call. I believe it was on Holden Stays. The hurdling we saw a couple times from Estime. Anything you can say on that young man that we haven't said yet, Tim?
No, he's outstanding. I mean, I've mentioned Ohio State more than anything, and I think I've mentioned Audric Estime needs to be the 2021 Kyron Williams. I think I've mentioned that the second most since January, and that was him today. He was the bell cow, 20 carries. Yeah, he looked like Jerome Bettis more than any game ever today. He looked outstanding. So heck of a ball game. He's had a great 2 years, and just he's a guy that needs to, he's going to play a lot next week. I don't think we're going to be seeing if Payne goes in there on 3rd and 2, I'm not going to be happy. He needs to play 25 plus carries, and he's got to be in there a ton next week, because you're not going to beat the Buckeyes rotating 4 or 5 running backs. You're not. So he's got to be the dude next week.
Tweet from Blue and Gold to Tyler Horka. Audric Estime has 63 carries for 521 yards and 5 touchdowns for Notre Dame in the 4-0 start. Now, he is the NCAA's leader in rushing yards, but I think he's played 2 more games than some other teams, right, that haven't played this week. And, of course, Notre Dame played week 0. But I think if you do like yards per game, he's still might be even number 1 or something. So, Audric Estime has been fantastic. Peacock, Tim, how was it for you?
It's fine. I had good internet. The stream works good. Commercial break. I take notes. Check on the kids. It's fine. It's, you hit that button, Mike, and it says watch now, and you watch now. Don't get me going, Mike. It was fine. Heck of a game, heck of a broadcast. I have no issues. If anyone complains about Peacock, do they not go to Netflix and have to click on an app? So,
well, yeah, mine did have a weird cutoff, but I don't know.
That was one time for I think maybe a half a play or something.
Yeah.
But are people not? I think the numbers, are they not going up? They're putting 5 Big Ten games a week on it. It seems like
people got to understand it's not like there's Peacock and NBC in terms of the broadcast. It's the same people, the same equipment. I mean, it's just one just gets put on Peacock to make NBC more money, and one gets put on NBC. I did have a weird issue. Go ahead, Tim.
No, I was going to say 12 seconds. Mike, I mean, knock on wood, my friend. I have never had these buffering issues for multiple minutes. Mine just plays. So if I have buffering, it's me rewinding it for a minute to catch up, and it's just catching up to a live stream. So, hey,
I love like 98% of the comments on Peacock are just Peacock sucks. Peacock sucks. Peacock was the worst. It was horrible. Peacock sucked. Peacock sucked. Like 98% are like that. And then you really don't get too many like explanations. Peacock was a solid 30 seconds behind, guys. That's streaming. Like that's how this works. Like if you don't have cable, like Peacock is not cable, it's just behind. I did have a situation on Peacock when I'm watching it on my Roku on my TV where it's cutting out when I watch sports, and it's very laggy. But then I just use my TV, like my smart TV's Peacock app instead of the Roku, and it worked perfect. So I don't know, guys.
That's what I do. I go to the actual app on mine, and no issue.
Yeah, so that's what I did. It worked fine. Yeah. But before I was using the Roku, so yeah. Hey, but you know what? Kevin says Peacock still sucks. So
I love
Kevin, I appreciate the analysis, my friend.
Hey, one thing I took a note on real quick, just going back to the offense and Hartman and obviously Coach Parker was, one of my stickies I did, just very aggressive today. Obviously, it could be the opponent. A lot of first down passing today, a lot more than we've seen all season. So they were very aggressive, and I think that was mindset of just trying to jump up and get on these guys. But even in the second half, we saw a bunch of first down passing. So, it's going to be those guys aren't going to get a lot of sleep this week because they know what next Saturday is. So I wish those coaches well. They are going to be working 20-hour days this week and getting ready for that ball game.
Yeah, Mr. 2.0 says there's no reason it needs to be that behind just because it's streaming. Listen, I don't know. I don't make the rules. I'm just telling you that is live streaming for literally everything. Like that's just how streaming works when you don't have there's streaming and then there's like a cable box, right? Like with all the wires and stuff. Cable box is only like going to be a few seconds behind live to like the live actually what's happening inside the stadium. But that's just what streaming is. So I don't know what to tell you. So
how do you know if it's behind if you're watching the streaming, right? So I have no idea they're behind half a play. So but
people are on Twitter. That's the thing. People are on Twitter seeing the live tweets, and it's honestly more than 30 seconds. I think it's more like a minute sometimes.
Okay.
But
yeah. See, like John right here. Who cares if it's 30 seconds behind? High five to you, John.
Yeah, like I know you and Goolsby will like literally be 20 minutes behind sometimes. I'm like, cool. I'll be like entering the fourth quarter, and Tim is like just ended the first quarter. I'm like, oh my gosh, Tim, are you gonna be able to get through this?
I'm catching up, and I'm breaking down some O-line stuff if I'm going back to look. But real quick, another little thing, just heading into the next week. We mentioned a little bit earlier. It's just the offensive line getting ready. Spindler. I mean, Coogan's been outstanding, by the way. He's played really good football for a guy who's never started a game. So he's been a big, big pleasant surprise for the season. Alt's been himself, outside of Zeke he got bull rushed so bad once last week. But outside of that, I think he's been really efficient. Fisher, I think, has been up and down just because the expectation. But then you go to his Pro Football Focus grade where they're breaking down his grades and whatnot. He's in the top 8, I think, in Notre Dame for grades. So he's done a lot. I think it's the expectations on him of that guy's got to go look like McGlinchey or Stanley or guys of that nature with the pass. But Fisher's played a lot more good football plays than bad plays. And it's gonna be a battle heading into next week. And then just another thing real quick. Yeah, Rocco got destroyed. Yeah, the Hartman leg was Rocco just it's setting his feet, and that's always been a Rocco thing, as the coaches have always talked about, is just his footwork, moving. I mean, he'll run. I mean, there's some run blocks today where he's just literally pancaking guys backwards. He's so big and strong. It is
the footwork. And number 51, Mr. Hall from Ohio State, is a tear, and he destroyed Notre Dame last year. So that's going to be the matchup next week.
Sorry, I keep talking about Peacock. I'm reading chat and
are you?
Tim, like, let's talk ball. You guys know I love soccer, right? One of my teams playing they started at 5. I haven't watched a second of it. Once I'm done with this, I'm gonna edit another video and then watch the game. I will be like 2 hours behind. I just don't know what's going on because I'm not checking the live things. So
Don't look at it. Don't look at
it. Whether I'm that hour, it doesn't matter. Just don't check the live. Anyways, Tim, 2 more things that I wanted to talk about from the chat. Roberts asked, did Parker and Golden play a somewhat vanilla in this game, not to show the Buckeyes too much? Emphatic no, right? Like, I mean, they've put 4 games on tape. They're not – this isn't preseason NFL, right? You can't do that in college football.
No, I mean, my God, they ran a Blake, talking about putting something new on film, a Blake Fisher tackle wrap up the gut. They haven't run that. They ran a bunch of buck sweeps today, a little bit more motion with Tyree this week. Heck, they went, it's basically a form of unbalance on the rush by Jaden Thomas. He's the boundary receiver who's off, makes him, makes it an unbalanced formation, goes in motion, rips off a 10, 12-yard run. That they hadn't shown that. They did a handful of things today. And on defense, they just did what they did. They played their 4-man front. They played their nickel. Their 2 backers played a lot of nickel. If anything, then they situated. They had a handful of 3-backer sets at times today. I noticed it was Snead, Maris, and I saw Kaiser out there. Bowen got in on a few, but then, man, I'm telling you, as soon as you get 3rd down and 5+, bam, it's 6 DBs. They're going dime.
Yeah,
and they've done that 4 straight games. They did it again today. I don't think there's anything new. Maybe, obviously there could be a little random blitz in anything. So they could bring another free safety from 22 yards away and drive everyone nuts. But outside of that, the defense is the defense. It's about those guys making plays. And they just got to get some pressure. Where's Jordan Botello? So Botello, I have not been a big fan of Baptiste. He made more plays today against Central Michigan, but NC State, I thought he got stuffed a ton last week on pass rush. So there's going to be some dudes on D that really need to rally up.
And then lastly, Potatoes O'Brien said lots of penalties again today, Tim. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the refereeing decisions. I mean, refereeing, I think I usually don't complain about it because I feel like it's all going to even out.
Yeah.
But it's just bad in general. Like refereeing.
Estimate getting tackled a yard behind the first down. They give him the first down. I'm like, oh my God, that's atrocious. Even the Central Michigan quarterback, I thought he scored on the 1. The ball's on the white, his knees down. They don't give it to him. They eventually score a few plays later. But it was, some weird stuff. I have no idea. It's crazy sometimes, what happens. There's like a phantom PI they called on one of the guys. I forget wherever my note is. It's it is what it is. Hopefully we get a NCAA playoff crew next week coming into South Bend.
Yeah.
Yeah. And another thing real quick, going back to Hartman, like Adam just posted, you got to beat SC Ohio State. Exactly. We've said that. Sam Hartman's not going to New York if Notre Dame goes 9-3. No quarterback is going there unless you're Manziel, they were 10-2. But there's no quarterbacks in this day and age that's going to New York City 9-3, 8-4. It's not happening.
Well, yeah. I mean, Robert Griffin did. I think that Baylor team like 8-4, 9-3.
Yes.
But some very unique circumstances.
And he was
electrified and just how electrified. Yeah, they were. I don't think Hartman's doing that.
No.
I don't think I just don't think that's
no. If Notre Dame is 6-2 at the bye, the Hartman for Heisman shirts are going to be on eBay. I mean, let's be they're going for 13 cents. No one cares. If they're 6-2, they're getting ready to go to the Gator Bowl, fighting for that type of a berth. So
folks,
that's what's going to happen.
Folks, please do hit the thumbs up, of course, on this video. Subscribe to our channel for more content. Goolsby texted me back and said we're 7 p.m. Eastern time for the Goolsby show tomorrow.
NFL game, Mike.
Complete honesty, Dolphins played 8-20. We're going to kick some Tim Hyde's Patriots ass. It's going to be great. Tim, if the Patriots win, let's just make a deal. We won't talk until Monday.
What's the line, by the way? Come on, give me one of your odd charts.
It's like 3. I think the Dolphins are like a 3-point favorite.
Okay, so it's a little field goal game. So
yeah, 2.5 Dolphins. So Tim, let's just not talk until Monday. Let's just give 24 hours Monday night. Just give 24 hours, because I will not want to hear from you if the Patriots win.
I got you.
But yeah, final thoughts, Tim, or should I say first thoughts on Ohio State week? How you feeling?
Oh, it's gonna be wild. I mean, I'm really, really, really excited. I love. I mean, Mike Goolsby's going to be there. I can't wait for him to chat about it. He was at Clemson last year, so I'm going to go with the Goolsby luck. He brought it last year. Can he bring it again this year? When go into a game. Tell you, Notre Dame has a legitimate shot. Notre Dame's got a good football team. They got an experienced quarterback. They got to find a. This is going to be one of those interesting things. I believe, because people are going to be like, well, how are you going to cover Harrison? Hart and Benjamin Morrison could play. So they're going to run with them. I don't think they're going to be nervous Nelly dropping 8 and things of that nature. I don't think they need to. So, I'll watch more film and get into it. But the atmosphere is going to be awesome. It's going to feel like USC in 2005. It is. It's got, Clemson, it's too bad it was COVID, but even that crowd was crazy with the students. The energy that game is going to be. This is going to be up there. If Notre Dame wins, it'll be the biggest home game, I think, since the night. I mean, Clemson was number 1. That's tough to say. Clemson. I know Trevor didn't play and all that stuff, but it'll be up there.
Something about it being Ohio State, though, Tim.
What's that?
Something about it being Ohio State.
Oh, exactly, and that's the other thing. It's not just. Yeah, it's going to be Ohio State. What are they, 5 or 6? They'll probably be, top 5, whatever it is, coming in here. Notre Dame's 9. They may move up 1. It's going to be a clash. It's going to be awesome. It is. It's going to be a heck of a football game. That's why I've called it the Super Bowl in South Bend. It's going to be electric. Notre Dame can win this game. And as we log off here in the next few seconds, I truly believe Notre Dame is going to win this football game.
Okay.
I don't know a score yet, Mike.
Friday.
After watching film, I was like, Ohio State's good. I got a lot of respect for those guys. I truly believe Notre Dame's going to pull this thing out. They're going to find a way to win this thing by 1.
Yeah, I like Notre Dame to beat Ohio State too.
I think it's going to be low scoring. I will say that. I do not think there's going to be a lot of points in this game.
Okay.
Ohio State's defense is fast. I'm talking fast.
21-17 Notre Dame or something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be my that's interesting you said that. My prediction, when we did our prediction, I had Ohio State, I think I said 21-17. So I'm definitely, so Notre Dame's jumped 5 points with me so far to take the 1 point advantage. Look at that.
All right. Well, that's going to do it. Again, 7 p.m. Eastern time. It's the plan. I'll make sure with Mr. Goolsby tomorrow. But Goolsby will talk about this game, then preview Ohio State. Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Tyler Horka, Darren Pritchett show. Hyde and I will be back Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Friday around lunchtime. We'll have our final thoughts, observations, and prediction video for you guys to watch. And then Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Tim, you got to pinch yourself that the game's only 7 days away.
Oh, seriously, man. I've coached in some games, man, where places rocking. Obviously, Mike's going to be on tomorrow night. He's beaten 2 huge Michigan games, the upset in Tallahassee, obviously the pick 6 Goolsby game, and Rocky Top beating a top 10 Tennessee game. So yeah, Mike's been a part of beating top 10 teams. So can't wait to hear him talk about it tomorrow night. But oh man, I'm fired up. I love Notre Dame football, especially when it's at this stage. I mean, we're talking about 2 of the 3-4 greatest programs in the history of college football getting together. And I sure hope game day is going to be there next week. And I hope the NBC crew is going to be there and hype up their pregame show and do all that stuff. So
no, they'll do, the Michigan versus,
Illinois.
Florida Southeastern Tech.
No, it is a Big Ten game now, right? It's NBC. It's yeah. Oh, they're going to be there, but the game day guys. I mean, when game day's there, obviously it's a little extra hype on campus, and yeah, South Bend's going to be buzzing. It's going to be electric, and I mean, seriously, I can't wait to read Horka, Jack. I can't wait to read their reports during the week. Boots on the ground, checking out what South Bend's like. So I'm really excited.
All right. So please do read their stuff at blueandgold.com. And when you're in town, head to Augie's Locker Room, 1811 South Bend Ave. Yeah, Augie's Locker Room. So please do that. When do we hear where ESPN is going? Tonight. It should be tonight. And I'm sure when that is announced, and if it is Notre Dame, we will have the article at blueandgold.com. So please do check that out. We're signing off. Tim, great stuff today. Notre Dame fans, you guys showed up and were fantastic in the live chat. Hit that thumbs up if you're watching live or watching back. Podcast audience, appreciate you as well. Leave us a good review if you liked the show, wherever you get your podcasts. And then, please check out blueandgold.com. In the meantime, 7 p.m. Eastern time, Sunday night. Myself and Mike Goolsby will talk some Notre Dame ball. See you, everybody. Have a good night.